Most people live their whole lives avoiding this one truth: you will die. But what happens next? Lights out? Eternal sleep? Or something far more mysterious, an afterlife waiting to unfold? Every culture, every religion, even modern science has tried to answer this, but no one dares face the ultimate question head-on. Until now. In this video, we strip away the fairy tales and dive into chilling stories, ancient beliefs, and real experiences that claim to prove there's something after death. Whether you believe in heaven, reincarnation, or pure darkness, this will challenge everything you think you know about your soul, your purpose, and what truly lies beyond the grave. Don't blink, what comes next might change your life forever. What if I told you that the single greatest mystery of human existence, the one question whispered in the quietest moments of our lives, has an answer waiting to be uncovered, not in some dusty tome, but within you and around you right now? You clicked on this for a reason. Something inside you is curious, perhaps even yearning to know what happens when the curtain falls. Is this all there is? Most people ponder this, then push it away, too big, too unknown. But not you, not today. Stick with me, because today we're not just asking the question, we're embarking on a journey to explore the very edges of what we think we know. And I promise by the end, your perspective might just shift in a way you never expected. This isn't just another video. This is an exploration that could touch the very core of your being. You won't want to miss a single moment of this unfolding. It's a question as old as humanity itself, isn't it? From the moment we first looked up at the stars or laid a loved one to rest, the thought has echoed: what comes next? Is there a next? This isn't just idle curiosity, it's a profound human ache, a deep-seated desire for meaning, for continuity, for assurance that the connections we forge, the love we share, the experiences that shape us, don't simply vanish into nothingness. Think about it. Every culture, every civilization throughout history has grappled with this. They've woven intricate stories, developed profound philosophies, and established elaborate rituals, all attempting to peer beyond that impenetrable veil of death. Why this universal obsession? Perhaps it's because life itself feels so intensely real, so vibrant, so full of consciousness, that the idea of its complete and utter cessation feels wrong, unnatural even. We experience ourselves as more than just flesh and bone. We feel a spark, an awareness, a sense of self that seems to transcend the purely physical. And so, the question persists, passed down through generations, whispered in our hearts. If this life has such depth and meaning, can it truly be all there is? This question isn't a sign of weakness or fear. It's a testament to the human spirit's relentless search for understanding, for connection to something larger than ourselves. It's the hum beneath the noise of daily life, a constant companion on our journey. Now, let's be honest. If we rely solely on what our five senses tell us, if we look for concrete, verifiable, scientific proof in the way we prove gravity or the boiling point of water, the answer to the afterlife question seems to be a resounding silence. Science, in its current form, deals with the measurable, the observable, the repeatable. And death, by its very nature, is a one-way journey, at least in terms we can empirically validate in a lab. When a body ceases to function, the empirical evidence points to an end of biological processes. The brain activity stops, the heart no longer beats, the breath is gone. From a purely materialistic standpoint, that would appear to be the end of the story. Many brilliant minds have concluded just that consciousness is an emergent property of complex brain function, and when the brain dies, consciousness ceases to exist, like a flame extinguished when the fuel runs out. There are no ghosts in the machine for them, no soul to depart. This perspective is not to be dismissed lightly. It's grounded in a rational approach to understanding the universe. It encourages us to make the most of this life, to find meaning in the here and now, because this might be all we get. It's a stark view perhaps, but it carries its own kind of integrity. The challenge then is, are our current scientific tools designed to measure the material world even capable of detecting something that might exist beyond it? Is it possible that we're trying to catch water with a net? But what if the clues aren't where science is currently equipped to look? What if the whispers of something more are found not in laboratories, but in the extraordinary experiences of ordinary people who've brushed against the very edge of life and returned? The stories they tell are too consistent, too profound to simply ignore. Stay with me, because what they describe might change everything you thought you knew about the limits of human experience. This brings us to a phenomenon that has fascinated and puzzled researchers, doctors, and laypeople alike for decades: near-death experiences, or NDEs. These aren't just fuzzy dreams or hallucinations brought on by a dying brain, as some skeptics might suggest. The patterns reported by people from vastly different cultural, religious, and personal backgrounds are astonishingly similar, too similar to be mere coincidence. Imagine, for a moment, being declared clinically dead, no heartbeat, no breath, and yet your consciousness, your awareness, not only persists but expands. Many report a sensation of floating above their own bodies, observing resuscitation efforts with a clarity and detachment that is baffling. They can often recall specific details, conversations, and events that occurred in the room, things they could not possibly have known through their physical senses at that time. Then there's the journey. Often it involves moving through a tunnel, a darkness, towards a brilliant, loving, and overwhelmingly peaceful light. This light isn't just a visual phenomenon, it's described as an entity, a presence of pure, unconditional love and acceptance, more real and intense than anything experienced in earthly life. Many encounter beings of light, sometimes recognized as deceased loved ones, other times as spiritual guides, radiating compassion and wisdom. A life review is another common element, not a judgment, but a panoramic, instantaneous reliving of one's life, understanding the impact of every action, every word, every thought on oneself and others, all from a perspective of profound love and learning. The overwhelming emotions are peace, joy, and a sense of interconnectedness, a feeling that everything makes sense, that all is well. And then, often reluctantly, they are told it's not their time, and they return to their bodies, forever changed by the experience. When we step back from individual accounts and look at the broader human story, we find an incredible, diverse tapestry of beliefs about what happens after we die. It's not just one or two cultures, it's practically universal. From the ancient Egyptians with their elaborate preparations for the journey into the duat, believing the soul, the ka and ba, continue to exist, to the Hindu and Buddhist concepts of reincarnation and karma, where the soul undergoes a cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, shaped by its actions in previous lives, aiming for ultimate liberation or nirvana. Consider the Abrahamic faiths, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, each with their distinct yet related visions of a final judgment leading to an eternal reward in heaven or paradise, or punishment in hell. The details differ, the paths diverge, but the underlying theme of continuity, of accountability, of a reality beyond the physical is a powerful common thread. Then there are the indigenous traditions, rich with ancestor veneration, a belief that the spirits of the departed remain connected to the living, offering guidance, protection, or sometimes needing appeasement. From the Norse warriors aspiring to Valhalla to the spiritual realms of Aboriginal Dreamtime, humanity has consistently envisioned something more. This sheer pervasiveness of belief across millennia and continents is remarkable. Is it all wishful thinking, a collective coping mechanism, or could it be that these diverse cultural expressions are like different paths leading up the same mountain, each offering a unique perspective on a truth that is too vast for any single tradition to fully encapsulate? So many paths, so many visions, but do they point to a singular truth, or are they merely reflections of our deepest hopes and fears? And more importantly, what does your own intuition whisper when you quiet the noise of the world? We're going deeper now, beyond established beliefs, into the very nature of consciousness itself. Could the key to the afterlife be hidden not in ancient texts or near-death testimonies alone, but in understanding the mystery of our own awareness? Don't go anywhere. This next part connects the dots in a way you might not expect. Let's talk about consciousness. You right now, listening to my voice, thinking your thoughts, feeling your feelings, that is consciousness. It's the most fundamental reality of your existence. Yet it's also one of science's greatest unsolved mysteries. The prevailing materialist view, as we touched upon, is that consciousness is an epiphenomenon of the brain, produced by complex neural activity, much like a computer program is produced by hardware. Turn off the hardware, the program vanishes. Simple, neat. But is it truly that simple? There are nagging questions, persistent challenges to this view. The hard problem of consciousness, as philosopher David Chalmers termed it, asks, why and how do physical processes in the brain give rise to subjective experience, the redness of red, the sweetness of sugar, the feeling of joy or sorrow? We can map neural correlates, yes, we can see which parts of the brain light up during certain experiences. But why does it feel like something to be you? That's the mystery. Some pioneering scientists and philosophers are now exploring theories that consciousness might be more fundamental than matter, perhaps even a primary aspect of the universe itself, like space-time or energy. In this view, the brain might not produce consciousness, but rather act as a receiver, a tuner, or a filter for a consciousness that is non-local, existing beyond the confines of our individual skulls. If consciousness is not solely dependent on the brain, then the death of the brain doesn't necessarily mean the end of consciousness. Think of a television set. It receives signals broadcast through the air and translates them into picture and sound. If you smash the television, the broadcast doesn't stop. Only that particular receiver's ability to display it is gone. Could our brains be biological receivers for a vaster consciousness? This idea resonates with many spiritual traditions that speak of a universal mind, a cosmic consciousness of which our individual awareness is but a temporary expression. It also offers a framework for understanding endes, where consciousness appears to function and even expand when the brain is clinically non-functional. Now this is where things get truly mind-bending, and we venture into territory that pushes the boundaries of our current understanding. Some thinkers are looking to the strange world of quantum physics for potential clues, not necessarily as direct proof of an afterlife, but as an indication that reality is far stranger and more interconnected than our everyday experience suggests. Concepts like quantum entanglement, where two particles can become linked in such a way that they instantaneously influence each other, no matter how far apart they are, challenge our classical notions of space, time, and separation. It suggests a deeper level of reality where everything is fundamentally interconnected. Could consciousness be a part of this interconnected fabric? If information can be non-local, if connections can exist beyond the apparent physical separation, what does that imply for individual consciousness after the dissolution of the physical body? Some theories like orchestrated objective reduction or proposed by Sir Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff even suggest that consciousness arises from quantum processes within the microtubules of brain cells, and that this quantum information isn't destroyed at death, but might dissipate and reconnect with a larger universal consciousness. These are, of course, speculative frontiers, but they open up possibilities, suggesting that the universe might be far more mind-like than machine-like. Imagine a vast ocean of consciousness. Our individual lives could be like waves arising from the ocean, having a distinct form and experience for a time, and then returning to the ocean, merging back into the whole, yet perhaps retaining some essence of their individual journey. This isn't about a heaven with pearly gates in the clouds, but a more subtle, more integrated vision of continuity. It's a perspective that shifts the focus from individual survival in a specific form to a participation in something immense and eternal. The idea of a universal mind or cosmic consciousness isn't new. It's a recurring theme in many mystical and philosophical traditions. What's new is that aspects of modern physics are beginning to hint that such ideas might not be mere poetic fancy. We've journeyed through the personal longing, the scientific silence, the compelling testimonies, the diverse beliefs, and the enigmatic nature of consciousness itself. But the biggest revelation might be how this question of an afterlife, regardless of its ultimate answer, profoundly shapes the way we choose to live right now. The final pieces of this puzzle are coming together, and trust me, you'll want to hear how it all connects to your daily existence and the legacy you create. So we've explored various avenues, from personal testimonies to scientific theories and ancient wisdom. Does all this give us a definitive, irrefutable yes or no to the existence of an afterlife? For many, perhaps not in the way a mathematical theorem can be proven. The afterlife, by its very nature, seems to reside in a realm that transcends our current methods of empirical proof. And perhaps, just perhaps, that's part of its profound purpose. What if the value isn't in having a concrete answer, but in how the question itself transforms us? Consider this: if you knew with absolute certainty that there was nothing after this life, how would that change the way you live? For some, it might lead to a sense of urgency, a desire to seize every moment, to extract every drop of joy and meaning from this finite existence. For others, it might feel like a heavy cloak of nihilism, a sense that nothing truly matters in the grand scheme. Conversely, if you knew with absolute certainty that a glorious afterlife awaited, how would that shape your present? Some might become complacent or overly focused on the future, neglecting the present. Others might be inspired to live with greater kindness, compassion, and integrity, knowing their actions have eternal consequences. The truth is, most of us live in the space between these certainties, in the realm of hope, faith, intuition, or simply open-minded uncertainty. And it's in this space that the question of the afterlife can become a powerful catalyst for growth. The possibility of something more can inspire us to live more deeply, more lovingly, more meaningfully. It can provide comfort in times of grief, knowing that the connections we cherish may not be entirely severed by death. It can encourage us to look beyond our immediate, material concerns and consider our legacy, the impact we have on others, the ripples we send out into the world. Whether or not there's a scorecard kept somewhere, living as if our actions matter, as if kindness and compassion are intrinsically valuable, enriches not only our own lives, but the lives of everyone we touch. Ultimately, whether individual consciousness persists in a recognizable form after death, or merges back into a universal source, or simply ceases to be, there's another form of afterlife that is undeniable, the legacy we leave behind. This isn't just about material possessions or grand achievements. It's about the love we've shared, the kindness we've shown, the wisdom we've imparted, the lives we've touched. These things don't die with the physical body. They live on in the hearts and minds of others, passed down through generations, shaping the future in ways we can't even imagine. Think of the impact of a compassionate teacher, a loving parent, a loyal friend. Their influence continues to resonate long after they're gone. In this sense, we achieve a form of immortality through our connections and contributions. If consciousness is indeed more fundamental, and if love is one of its highest expressions, then the love we generate in this life might be the most enduring part of our existence. It's an energy, a vibration, that contributes to the overall fabric of reality. Perhaps the afterlife isn't a place we go to, but a state of being we cultivate, a quality of consciousness that transcends the physical. The great spiritual traditions often emphasize that the path to understanding deeper realities lies not in intellectual speculation alone, but in transforming our own consciousness through practices like meditation, compassion, service, and self-reflection. By cultivating inner peace, love, and wisdom in this life, we align ourselves with what might be the fundamental nature of reality itself. And in doing so, the fear of death diminishes, replaced by a sense of participation in something vast, eternal, and beautiful. The focus shifts from, "Will I survive?" to, "How can I best contribute to the flow of life and love, here and now, and by extension, perhaps beyond?" We've journeyed far today, haven't we? From the ancient human yearning for what lies beyond, through the silence of our current science, into the compelling accounts of those who've touched the veil, across the diverse tapestry of global beliefs, and deep into the mystery of consciousness itself. We haven't found a simple laboratory proof, and perhaps we never will in the way we prove everyday physics. But I hope what you found is something far more valuable, a richer, deeper way to engage with this profound question. The possibility of an afterlife, in whatever form it might take, isn't just an abstract philosophical puzzle. It has the power to transform how we live, how we love, how we face our own mortality and the loss of others. It invites us to consider what truly matters, to cultivate our inner lives, and to leave a legacy of kindness and connection. The most profound answers often lie not in definitive proof, but in the quality of the questions we ask and the lives we lead in response. What I'm about to share in these concluding moments isn't a final, definitive yes or no, because that personal conviction, that inner knowing, is something you must cultivate and discover for yourself. But what I can offer is a final synthesis, a way to hold this question that empowers you, that brings peace, and that illuminates the path forward, regardless of what ultimate truth awaits. This last piece of understanding, this is where the true journey of discovery begins for you. Don't miss these final insights, because they contain the key to integrating this entire exploration into a more meaningful, more conscious, and more fearless life. Click here for that final distillation, that crucial perspective that ties it all together. You've come this far, the most enriching part is just ahead.